Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I will be showing you how I make fine art prints of my work at home. Now, a lot of artists don't like to share these secrets, but I think it's a good idea to kind of let other people know how it's done, because it's not that hard, but it does take some specialist equipment. So as you can see, I've got a fairly hefty printer. This is the Epsom Eco-Tank ET-7750, which is a really fantastic print, but it was a bit of an investment. So I start off by placing my art on the scanner. So this printer is great because it has both the printing aspect and the scanning aspect, and it can do really high quality scans. I start by doing a little preview scan just to make sure I've got the art lined up properly. And then I'll go in and select the art piece, making sure that everything is on the scanning page because you don't want to cut off a bit of your art. The scanning process, because I scan my files as large as I can, so this particular piece I scanned at 1600, which is a bit of overkill, but I like to scan as high as I can. It takes forever. But if you've got time to kill to wait, it's worth it, I think. So every time I scan, I then do a quick check just to make sure there's no obvious bits of hair or dirt on either the scanner or on the art. There's no errors. And then when you go on to something that takes a long time, the editing process, I use Adobe Elements 2020. It's like the less professional version of a Photoshop. It's still Photoshop, but it's like the basic version. So what I'll do, I've got a touchscreen laptop, which really does help. But what I'll do is I'll go in and start selecting the edge, because I always scan with just a little bit of edge left on the art piece, but I don't want that edge on my prints. So I'll go in and scan that and get rid of that edge and place it onto the document. Now this is going to be an A4 piece, so I'm going to just whiz through the various stages of editing. It's different for every single piece, and in this one, I wasn't trying to match it perfectly to the original. I wanted it to be ever so slightly more blue because it looks more grey on camera than the original piece actually does in person. It's a bit more blue in person, so I wanted to match it to what I can actually see rather than what the camera picks up. So just do a final check, make sure there's no issues and everything's all lined up. And now we get to the exciting bit. So you'll see it's a very close match. Now, paper is incredibly important when you come to printing your art. You've got to make sure you can use the highest quality paper that you can. And the texture of the paper is really important as well. So here you can see two of my favourite papers, a very, very textured one and a slightly textured one. But you can also get very, very smooth papers. I prefer the more textured papers because a lot of my art is watercolour. And I think it reproduces the watercolour best. Today I'll be using the Photopaper Direct inkjet art paper, which has a velvet etching feel. I really like this paper. I think it reproduces my art really well and shows that watercolour texture just perfectly. Make sure you change the settings on your printer to the correct settings for the paper, because otherwise you run into so many issues. And always triple check your printing settings. But now we're ready to go and let's print. Now the actual printing on this printer takes quite a while, so I'm just going to speed it up, but you can really see just how long it takes. And I use that piece of paper just so that the print isn't bending when it comes out. It comes out nice and smoothly. She's a very loud printer. So here's the print on this velvet texture paper, and I'm really happy with how it came out. Here is something that happens every time I print a new print. You'll always have some duds. So this was printed on the more textured paper, and you can see just how much of an effect paper has on the print. Now, I like to sign my prints. I use archival ink, so I just really love that personal touch. Finally, I thought I'd show you how I package my prints. So I handwrite everything. I just really like the personalized touch, and I'm just a small artist, so I have the time. But I put everything with a backing board and into these cello bags, then close it up. I'm using up the plastic I've got, and then I'll be purchasing biodegradable ones. I bought these from an art shop online, but I really do want to try and be more environmentally friendly. Then I place the sticker on the back with all the information about the print, and there we have it, nice and protected. This is especially important for markets. Now, this is probably weird, this is probably just me, but I always like to say thank you to my printer because she has done such a fantastic job in making me a print. So I always, whenever she starts acting up or something, I find that she's so loud. I find that just talking at the printer and saying you're doing a great job actually makes me feel more positive about it and makes things seem like they're going a bit faster. I know it sounds real silly, but I really rely on this printer. Yeah, real silly, but kind of fun. There we have it. That is how I produce my prints from home with a art printer. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this helps some of you. Thank you so much for watching, and have a lovely day.